And hello there, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this Fox 10 News special report. I'm Lenise Lagan.
And I'm Bob Grip. The Amber Alert program has been credited with saving hundreds of children since its inception in 1996.
But we'll never know if an Amber Alert would have made a difference in the Hawaii Robinson case because one was never issued.
We'll get into the reasons why a little bit later.
But first, the disappearance of Hawaii Robinson. It had a lot of you asking questions. Many of those questions remain today. What happened to her and who did it? It's been 18 days, that is, and still no arrests, no person of interest or suspects in the case. But just last week, search warrants were executed at 2 homes, and one of the homes belonged to Hawaii's father.
Anybody, anywhere, know anything, please bring her home to her family.
With search warrants in hand, FBI agents bust through the doors of Hiawatha Robinson's Pritchard home on Stovall Street.
Point that I don't understand. They came and bust my door up, and I'm talking about they could have called me.
His girlfriend's house was searched too, and agents actually carried away bags from Tashiria Parker's house in Sims. Investigators are not saying what they found, but Mobile County DA Ashley Rich is saying the 2 have not been listed as suspects in the murder case of Little Hawaii. The frantic and desperate search for the 8-year-old girl started on September 16th. Robinson vanished after leaving her family's Pritchard apartment. Her mother said she changed clothes when she got home from school, called her dad, and then left to see her cousin a few steps away. She never made it there. Instead, we see Hawaii in this surveillance video, buying candy at a convenience store at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The place is just 3 blocks away from her apartment. It's possible this was the last time the little girl was seen alive.
Wherever, just bring her close enough where she can find her way home.
The family called 911 to report the disappearance at 9:58 p.m., but no Amber Alert was issued. Police claim the guidelines were not met. The next day, hundreds of volunteers, state and local federal investigators searching by air, canine, and foot. Hawaii's mother and father at the search grounds begging for the return of their little girl.
I want her to know that her mama loves her. Her daddy loves her.
The following day came the news no one wanted to hear. Hawaii's body was found behind an abandoned building near Rebel Road. The public works employee who made the discovery said little Hawaii was naked in a pile of trash, just 2 days after the 3rd grader was reported missing.
I'm gonna pass up. Let the 2 do it with me. They just bust out, start crying.
The only hint of what may have happened to her came just hours before the discovery of Hawaii's body. It was during a press conference. FBI agents said they believe she may have been taken across state lines. Then came the call to find a person of interest, a woman who was seen standing behind Hawaii inside that convenience store. But after questioning her, police said she had nothing to do with the disappearance. It was the last time investigators would talk about that case. But the community spoke. A huge memorial filled with teddy bears, flowers, and pictures made where Hawaii's body was found. Just 2 weeks ago, a visitation was held for Hawaii at Mount Hebron Church. She was laid to rest Saturday, September 27th. A standing room only crowd. And rewards now total $23,000. If you know anything, even if it's something small, it could be the clue that investigators need. The telephone number to call is 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Before Hawaii Robinson was killed, questions were raised about why an Amber Alert wasn't issued for 5 South Carolina children who were found dead in Wilcox County, Alabama. The bodies of 8-year-old Mariah, 7-year-old Elias, 6-year-old Nathan, 2-year-old Gabriel, and 1-year-old Elaine Marie were found wrapped in plastic garbage bags last month near Camden. Their father, Timothy Jones, allegedly dumped their bodies there after killing the children in South Carolina. The children were last seen alive on August 28th. Their mother, who did not have custody of the children, reported them missing on September 3rd. Their bodies were found on September 9th. During a news conference, investigators say they didn't issue an Amber Alert because Jones had legal custody of his children.
One is a child has to be taken without legal authority. They have to be abducted by someone who does not have legal custody or control of that child. That obviously was not the case here. We also have to know at the time that there's immediate fear of harm to those children. And of course, when they were reported missing, as the sheriff has said, it was not uncommon for the mother not to be able to get in touch with the husband. That had happened before.
The Department of Justice does recommend certain criteria be met before an Amber Alert is issued, but keep in mind these are just recommendations, not hard and fast rules from the feds.
Now, included in the recommendations, a line that says that law enforcement should use its best judgment when deciding whether or not to issue an Amber Alert. And the Justice Department also points out that each case must be appraised on its own merits.
But in Alabama, police are not allowed to use their best judgment because the state requires that the DOJ's recommendations, those criteria we talked about, be met. Here's part of an email response we received from the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency about Hawaii's case. It reads, quote, "Please note that because Hawaii Robinson's disappearance did not meet the Amber Alert criteria as prescribed by the U.S. Department of Justice, a missing child alert was utilized to notify media outlets and the public of her disappearance."
Now, take a look at the federal recommendations for issuing an Amber Alert. Number one, there is reasonable belief that an abduction has occurred. Number two, the child is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death.
And number three, there is enough descriptive information about the child and the suspect. Number four, the child is 17 years or older. And number five, the child's name and other information have been entered into NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center system.
Now, the main reason the Justice Department has those recommendations is it doesn't want law enforcement agencies to send out a bunch of false alarms, which, as the feds have put it, it would weaken the program's effectiveness.
And it appears the state of Alabama is taking that to heart. Coming up next, we're going to tell you how many Amber Alerts have been issued in Alabama over the last 9 years. And let's just put it this way, those numbers surprised us.
Also, Pritchard's interim police chief Mike Rowland is live in the studio with us. He'll shed some light on the Amber Alert process. We have questions, he has answers.
And if you have a question you want to ask, you have time to send it in. You can send it to reported@fox10tv.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.